And hello, you beautiful late tea time podders around the world. Very good to see you again as we are back for another sneak peek ahead of the week's golfing action. James and Dave with you. DT, very nice to see you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, actually. I'm all right. And plenty to talk about today because we've got that wonderfully named ZOZO Championship.
ZOZO.
I'm sure when we've been doing this tournament before, I've asked you what a ZOZO is, and you've not known. And I doubt that's changed, is it?
ZOZO, a Japanese clothing brand.
Oh, are you wearing ZOZO today?
I can't say I'm wearing ZOZO today. No, no.
Yeah.
I've never seen it on the British High Street. I've never seen ZOZO.
If you're watching in Japan, get your ZOZO stuff now. Anyway, ahead of this tournament, I'll go through the top end of the market for the ZOZO Championship. Xander Schauffele 5-1, Colin Morikawa, my mate, 7-1. Hideki is 8. You got Sunjae Im at 14. Tahi Tagala is 18s. Justin Thomas is 20s. Kurt Kitayama is 25s. Minwoo Lee is 30s, and the rest are 35-1 or bigger. We always come as late as possible ahead of the. Sometimes we come during the tournaments, don't we? But we always come as late as possible ahead of the first tee shot being hit. That's the MO of this podcast. We can get Dave T's gargantuan golfing brain around all of the information from the course, the press conferences, everything else. Has that, Dave Tindall, led us anywhere for the ZOZO?
It'd be good if I said no, wouldn't it? But yes, it has. Obviously it's in Japan, so we're recording this just around midday in the UK time. So it's not that long before it tees off, really. Basically, the very early hours of Thursday morning UK time. So yeah, we've come a little bit early today. And that means we've already had lots of press conferences, which have been good to find out.
Carry on.
What's that? Are you just listening to music while I speak?
Yeah, I'm just listening to a podcast. I just zoned out, though.
Is it good? Is it better than this one?
I've turned my Twitter on to retweet our thing, and it played a video.
Okay, fair enough. So they've interviewed 6 players for this ZOZO Championship. So a little mention of those. So they've interviewed Colin Morikawa, James, your mate.
What a wonderful human being.
He's the defending champion, and he won here by 6 shots last year. He's obviously got a Japanese heritage. It was a special tournament for him to win. So he's come over to Japan early. He was saying he was here with his girlfriend, it might be his wife now, in last weekend. So they've been having a good look around, eating lots of food just to acclimatise in. So he's loving to be back. I mean, he finished the season in great form. Although he didn't win the Tour Championship because it was a staggered start and Scotty Scheffler already had a lead, he did actually shoot the lowest score there and finished second overall, which was good. Then he was joint top scorer in the President's Cup, 4 points out of 5. So he's in fantastic form. And if you go through all the transcripts this week, all the interviews, all of them seem to be coming back to this idea that you really do need to find the fairway here. The narrow fairways, the rough is quite testing. From the fairway, you can do lots of damage. You can then make lots of birdies, shoot low scores, but you've got to be in that fairway, which I don't often buy into, that idea often. I think it's overstated, but maybe it is here when you look at the past. And Morikawa is one of the straightest hitters around. So he looks perfect for this tournament, and I wouldn't put you off at all. There's a big 3, basically. It's Xander Schauffele, Hideki Matsuyama, and Colin, your mate Colin. And of those 3, I think he stands out, given what we know about the course now. So yeah, I'd go with I'll go through the other transcripts quickly before we get to the Colin bet, but yeah, just keep that in mind. He looks like the one. They interviewed Max Homer, who's been out of form, and to be honest, I would seriously oppose him this week. He's saying he's not ready. He says he's rusty. It'll be a few months before he kind of beds in new swing changes. He got rid of his coach. So he sounds like he's come over. He's loving Japan. He's quite a sort of articulate guy, kind of, got a nice focus, but he won't be winning. Go on, you've got a question for me.
why has he done all that? Why has he changed his swing and got rid of his coach? Because he was doing quite well, wasn't he?
He had a really good year last year, but he's had a bit of a shocker this year. I think
So it's come off the back. It's come off the back of this year's performances, has it?
Yeah, he's just been not on it this year at all. So he's obviously, as golfers do, search for the next tweak, for the next solution. So he's changed coach. So it's going to take a while to get it bedded in.
I was watching something with Lee Westwood on it the other day, and he was asked about how many times he'd tinkered with his swing during his career. And he basically kind of wrinkled his nose and he said, it's basically the same swing I had when I was a teenager. There's been maybe about 11 times during my career I've just changed something very slightly.
Yeah.
But it's kind of effectively, if you've kind of, what he was saying was, if you put his swing when he was kind of 12 years old alongside the swing that he has now, you probably wouldn't, the layman wouldn't notice any difference.
Yeah.
I think sometimes
people got signatures, haven't they?
People overthink things, don't they?
Yeah, golfers certainly do. With Homer, the question is, you parted ways with your coach about a month ago. How's your swing feeling? And he says, yes, about 2 months now. I'm a little rusty. He took some time off after the President's Cup. And then he just goes on he says, the swing feels okay. Okay, and for a golfer, he's saying, like, it's not there yet. And he admits it. It might be a few months before we see the best of him again. So if you can find him in a match bet, Max Homer, I would take him on with someone, who sounds solid enough, because I don't think he's ready for this.
When they haven't got the swing quite right, they might be absolutely fine in terms of banging one 350 yards down the middle when the pressure's not on. But it's when you're in pressurized situations, and if you don't quite trust that swing, you're gonna fall foul, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think he's buying himself some time, saying, look, in a few months it might be ready. So he's sort of taking the pressure off. So yeah, it's a negative against him. Xander Schauffele, the favourite, he's been having a nice time looking around Japan. He's been to Kyoto and Osaka, 2 places I've been to, quite near to each other in Japan. So he's had a lovely time looking at temples and generally eating nice food. But he's not got a very good record at this course, which is, again, why I prefer Colin Morikawa. Justin Thomas is about to become a dad. So we know the nappy factor idea.
Yeah.
Funnily, we saw it at the weekend in the football, didn't we? Curtis Jones has just become a dad, a Liverpool player. That's outstanding, wasn't it? Absolutely brilliant. So maybe Justin Thomas you'd look to maybe when the baby has come along, because he sounded like it's very much on his mind. He's he'll be becoming a first-time dad. It's like, okay, he's come here to play, but I think his thoughts are a little bit, as they would be, distracted. And then they've interviewed Hideki Matsuyama, who sounded quite miserable. He can sometimes in interviews give them sort of monosyllabic, one-word answers, but I don't know. He doesn't fill me with the confidence that he's going to be the man this week.
So we're on Colin Morikawa, 7-1. 7-1, 6 places with Sky Bet is the best you can get for Colin Morikawa.
Well, I would just go win only, to be honest. Yeah. It may well be that he comes second, third, or fourth, but I think there's enough in his game to think he could win. So he's the main bet this week, but I do have another one as well. Go on then. What would that be then, Dave? What would that be?
Oh, Dave, you got another one? What's that?
That's right, I have. If you look at winners of this event, you've got winners in Japan, big events. So Xander Schauffele won the Olympics in Japan. Xander Schauffele has got Japanese heritage. Colin Morikawa, Japanese heritage, won here last year by 6. Hideki Matsuyama has won this before in 2021, the year he won the Masters. Obviously, he's Japanese. Now, can you think of another player with Japanese heritage who's American? It's not absolutely everybody knows this, but most.
Kurt Kitayama?
Well, that counts, yeah. That's a good one, but not the one I was thinking of.
All right, okay.
You won't really get it from the name either. I'll put you out of your misery. He wants me to put you out of misery. Ricky Fowler.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Ricky Fowler is a quarter Japanese. So his maternal grandfather, I think, is Japanese. So again, when he comes to Japan, it's more than just, this is a nice place. He's actually got roots there. And it's shown in this event. He was runner-up a couple of years ago opened 67, 63, 66 in round 3. So it was 36 and 54 hole leader, Ricky Fowler. Now he's had a tough year after his bounce back year in 2023, but he's made equipment changes and it's starting to show. He had quite a bit of time off after the Open Championship, 2.5 months off, but he's come back with 16th in the Sanderson Farms, 23rd in Vegas. And the key thing, given that everyone in the press conference is saying you've got to find the fairways, he's been hitting it really straight. I'm not sure you would always think that of Ricky Fowler, but the last 2 tournaments, he was 6th for driving accuracy in Vegas, 10th for driving accuracy at the Sanderson Farms. So he's got the right game to do well here now. He's proved it in the past by finishing runner-up. The form is coming back. Got that extra pull of playing well in Japan. And I think you can get 50 to 1 or more on Ricky Fowler. You're going to tell me.
Ricky Fowler, you can get actually 66s. You can get for 8 places 50 to 1, 66s is 5 places, 55 to 1. Actually, 55 to 1 Sky Bet 6 places was probably the best one, giving you the price on the places at the same time.
Yeah. A bit of me is tempted by the 66s because it's a jump, isn't it? It's a bit of a jump. Sometimes it's only 5 points. That's a jump, isn't it? But yeah, Ricky Fowler, I think he could be quite a big factor this week.
Ricky Fowler and factor being mentioned again, nappy factor. For those that don't know, with nappy factor, the kind of premise behind the nappy factor is that as a new father, you suddenly think, well, golf maybe not quite as important as it used to be. There's kind of like a little thing there relying on me. Family is important. You maybe just relax a little bit when it comes to your golf. You stop overthinking it and changing your swing every 5 seconds. You just go out there and play, and it translates to wins. You see it in a lot of sports. See with cricketers getting runs after they've had a child. All of a sudden, it just clears the mind a little bit, and they get back to winning ways. And maybe Justin Thomas is one to bear in mind for the future once his sprog's been born.
Yeah, that's the theory. The sort of counter theory is for a little while, it might take a while to kick in because you're not going to get any sleep for a while. Although it didn't stop Curtis Jones, I think he slept in the spare room. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Justin Thomas, who's not quite been on it the last few years, whether that will kick him back to what he used to be at the very best.
He's had a couple of days, hasn't he, where he's come out, and he obviously played quite well in the Ryder Cup, but he's had, by his standards generally, Justin Thomas has been a long way off the mark when it comes to his golf. Let's take a moment to thank manscaped.com, and you can have a look at this advert, and at the end of this one, I'm going to show you something.
Do you want a classic shave with a new school shaver?
Did somebody want to get their face shaved?
Presenting the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver from Manscaped.
Get shaved!
With interchangeable dual heads, equipped with skin-safe technology to help reduce nicks, cuts, razor burn, and irritation. Flex Adjust technology adapts to the contours of your face to maintain contact with your skin. Give your face the shave it deserves. Visit manscaped.com now.
And if you visit manscaped.com, you can get yourself 20% off and free shipping if you quote late. And that's they've sent me one. That's the Chairman Pro, and it's very, very good indeed. This little old gizmo. There you go, little bit of live action, and it's got a head that comes off, and you can replace it, and then you can get rid of all your whiskers and stuff. And then there's changing blades at the top as well, so you can get to change the length of the stubble or whatever, or you can have a clean shave and stuff like that. Very, very good, that. So if you fancy one of those, or if you fancy indeed anything else that they've got on manscaped.com, quote late, and you'll get yourself 20% off, and you will get free shipping.
Question.
Yes.
Is the Chairman just for your face?
Yes.
Oh.
There's a misnomer with Manscaped that it's all about the testicles.
What a load of yeah.
It's all the male grooming. Their funny adverts tend to be around the things downstairs, but Yeah, they do stuff for everywhere. So have a look, manscaped.com, quote late, and get 20% off and get free shipping. Anyway, is that us done for the old Zozo?
Yes, that's us done. So remember to get the bets on early because they're playing obviously very early hours of Thursday.
And so we've also educated ourselves that ZOZO is a clothing brand. So if they want to send us any clothes, happy to have them as well. Anyway, on to the other tournament, which we're going to have a look at, the Genesis Championship, which is obviously on the DP World Tour, not the PGA Tour. And very top end of the market here. You got Tom Kim 8-1. You got Benny Arn, who is 8-1. Nikolai Højgaard is 20s. Yannick Paul 25s. And the one I can never pronounce, Guido Migliozzi is 25-1. Sebastian Soderberg, who sounds like an American film director, doesn't he? 28-1, and the rest are 30s or bigger. We've obviously kind of majored on the ZOZO this week, but have you got any inklings towards the Genesis?
Yeah, I've said this before on here. This time of year, you do tend to get favourites winning, which is good for Colin Morikawa in the ZOZO. So my instinct was to look at the two favourites this week, Tom Kim and Benny Arn. I can't quite get enough enthusiasm about them. I don't think Tom Kim's in his best form. Benny Arn just doesn't win. He sort of plays nicely and has some good finishes, but he doesn't win. And if you're backing someone at those short single-figure prices, you kind of want someone who, he might win 2 or 3 times, or when they go back home, both Korean, that they're going to step up and take control, but neither of them do. So, I can't quite get excited by the front end. So then you come down, and maybe the one I think I'd back would be Yannick Paul. I think you said he was 25s.
Best price 25s, kind of ranging between 20s and 25s.
Yeah, you might look at this event, or might look at his course form and think, he was only 38th the only time he played this Jack Nicklaus course. And he was 38th, you can't deny that. But he was the halfway leader to start with a pair of 68s. So if you sort of go back and look what was going on at the time, he was playing a lot of golf, and it just looked like he ran out of gas at that time. So I think he can play this course really well. He does have a good record in the Far East, which is really promising. Some people seem to just flourish when they go there. And just 2 starts ago, he was runner-up in the Open de France at Le Golf National. Played really, really well there. That came on the back of a top 20 at the Alfred Dunhill. So Yannick Paul has got this mix of shown a lot of potential at the course and some very recent 72-hole form with that second place. So he'd be the one if you want to take the 2 market leaders on, because I think they are not quite doing it for me.
So Yannick Paul, then he's as I say, 25-1. You can get Yannick Paul, but probably if we're being honest with his price, that's 5 places. You can get him 22-1 5 places, 25-1 6th place. Actually, no. Yeah, 22-1 6th place is probably the best way of playing him. Get yourself that extra place. It might, if he finishes 6th, and you've gone and you've been following him all week, and he finishes 6th rather than 5th, you'd be gutted, wouldn't you? So I'd say take the extra place on him, wouldn't you? Yeah,
I mean, he's playing. He did miss the cut in the Andalusia Masters, but I think we can all have a bad day. But previously, before that, 4 straight top 25s and that second place in Paris. So I think, and that record. Sometimes you see players, I don't know, they might go to Asia and the form will drop off, or it'll go the other way and it really picks up. And who knows what it is? Various players down the years just seem to love going there, and he's got to be one of them when you look through his record.
Have you noticed on our backdrop that I've gone for the autumnal golf course scene now? I've got some brown leaves on the trees because it's getting a bit autumnal in the UK now, isn't it? So I thought I'd change the backdrop to a golf course with where the leaves are looking a little bit more rusty. But it's getting a bit chilly now in the UK. Hopefully, our friends in America, if you gearing up for the elections and stuff like that in the US, aren't you? All the people over there. I've been paying a lot of attention to that. I cannot stand Donald Trump. So if you're watching Donald, hopefully you lose.
The betting's ever so tight, isn't it? Ever so tight.
I mean, basically with the US elections, it comes down to, was it 6 or 7 swing states? Pretty much the rest of them are all. You hardly need to count the votes on the rest of the states because they just go either Democrat or Republican. But Pennsylvania and various others are the swing states, which really matter. They're the ones that actually kind of effectively just look out for those because that'll tell you who's won the election. And apparently they are really close. But maybe
I must admit, if you're on X or Twitter, there's so much just sort of bad mouthing the other side, isn't there? Everyone, what have you got? It's just like, yo, look at, he's rubbish, she's rubbish, he's rubbish, he's rubbish. It's like all you get.
And Donald Trump is 34 felonies, proven rapist, sex offender, just a nasty man. I mean, what do people see in him? I really don't get it. I really don't get what people see in Donald Trump because, I mean, he had, was it £500 million by the age of about 8 that his father gave him, which he's lost and he's lost again, and he's bankrupt casinos. People look at him as being this incredible businessman and all the rest of it. I mean, it's hard to bankrupt a casino. I think if you run a casino in Las Vegas and it goes under, you've done something hellishly wrong with that. But anyway, if you're watching Donald, having a nice day, and if you're watching Kamala, for balance, if you're watching Kamala Harris, have a nice day too.
He is actually favourite. Just looking at the latest odds, quite a notable favourite. She's gone up to 13-8. He's almost 4-6. It's like I saw a meme the other day. It's like there was some philosopher or some person in politics, and this was maybe 100 years ago. So if you want to kind of confuse the nation, you make sure that everything is sort of, you don't know. You confuse the environment by putting out lies and fakes. And then everyone just goes, I don't know what's happening to me. I don't know what's true anymore. And once you create that environment, you can get away with all sorts.
Well, what Donald Trump does, anybody that opposes him is an idiot. Anybody that says anything which is against him, it's fake news. And then he's free to just churn out whatever rubbish he wants to. Anyway, this is a golf podcast, not an American politics podcast. But I could go on. I mean, his 15 minutes at McDonald's was shameful. But people seem to have lapped it up and think he's amazing for doing it. It's incredible to me how people look at him and think he's the answer to their problems. He doesn't give a crap about the normal person on the street at all. Anyway, this has been the Late Time Golf Podcast. Tell us how you're voting if you're in America. Tell us what you're up to. Tell us what you're doing. Have a good week. Thank you, DT, for your time, as always.
Thank you.
I assume you finished talking.
Yeah, I was just looking at that quote that I was referring to. Can I say it just to bring it to an end? This was said by someone called Hannah Arendt, a German historian and philosopher. And she said, constant lying is not aimed at making the people believe a lie, but at ensuring that no one believes anything anymore. A people that can no longer distinguish between truth and lies cannot distinguish between right and wrong. With such people, you can do whatever you want. And that was said a long time ago. So it's true, isn't it? That's how you manipulate everybody.
Somebody must have told Donald that. Feedback. Somebody must have told Donald that because I don't think he can read. Anyway, it's very good to have seen you, everybody. If you're in America, vote properly, vote sensibly, and go your own way with your bets as well. You don't have to follow DT, but if you do follow DT, good luck. If you don't follow DT and you pick somebody else out of the field, good luck. But always, please gamble responsibly, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, Late Tea Time Podders. Have a good week.
Always gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org for more information.